We've been working with a team of designers in Kentucky, and they're working on making a template that's got all the ingredients in it that they need for future jobs. They've had a shot at making a logo, which is a vector-based logo, and using gCADPlus to make that logo. They're trying to reproduce what was done for them in Photoshop. And the lower, here's their logo, and you may be able to see that they've simulated the gradient that was in the original logo by doing a series of rectangles, and they've just they've assigned a colour, in this case colour 62, and they've just varied the transparency in this one here. They have set that particular rectangle, the colour, the background, at 200. If I come to the next one here, it's the same colour, 62, and transparency is now been set at 85, and so it goes. But it still looks a little clumsy and is not quite what our designers are after. By the way, the length here is from there to there's about 175 units, and that will work well enough in, say, an architectural B-size sheet for them. But there's another way, and that is to make a rectangle, fill it, and then use a gradient, a linear gradient. gCADPlus allows either a linear gradient or a point gradient, and here we want a linear gradient. And what's been done there, or what can be done, is you set a start colour, the same start colour as was used before, and then an end colour. We made the end colour, let me just escape from there, and I'll put a circle down and fill it. If we want to set the colour, I'm sure you're aware that you have a series of base colours which are common to the early versions of AutoCAD, but you can also go to True Colour, and you have millions of colours at your disposal, and you can save them as custom colours and so on. So if I wanted, let's take a relatively dark green. Well, I can OK that. That's now set to the red, green, blue, 71, 205 and 7, and that gives us the green colour. If we fill it, we now have a fill. Once it's filled, we can then apply one of these gradients. So if we set a point gradient and we said the start colour, we want it relatively dark, can be that colour that we just set, and we might set we might change now, say the gradient length, it's 50, let's make that 95, and what you now have, and you could use this as a plant symbol, you have a darker, could represent a heavy tree on site. You've got a point gradient working through. But if we return back here, you've got a lot of choice in here. This is a linear gradient. Can you see you can set that gradient left to right, right to left, top to bottom, and you can also change the gradient length, and you can change its colour and play with it at will. Once we've done that, we are now much happier with the logo. So we'll remove the text here, and if we look at this original one, and that point there is 0, 0. Remember, this is going to be a block inserted, and it's useful to have it at 0, 0. And we'll grab all of this now, and we'll just move that base point to 0, 0, and there we now have a new version of the logo, which is going to work quite smoothly in their title block and in the layout sheets where you're presenting the design. So there's some little tricks in gCADPlus which you might find useful.